the NI Golf Podcast with Paul Kelly and Maurice J.
It certainly is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be listening to the NI Golf Podcast, episode
43.
43. It certainly is. And we are in our new home.
I have to say, it's very swish in here today.
Now, this is the first time you've been in our new home.
Yes.
We borrow our studio from the good chaps at the radio at New 105, and we come in here every fortnight and hijack one of their studios, and it's moved to a very swanky new location at City Keys 2 in Belfast. And here we are overlooking the Lagan and the Odyssey and the Opal, and it's far too good for us.
It's I'm nearly afraid of touching anything because I break it.
And you see, next week I'll have worked out how to change the lights to a nice green colour to match
the NI Golf Podcast.
The NI Golf Podcast, yes. Yeah. So on the programme this evening, Mr. Kelly,
we're looking ahead to the West of Ireland Championship with defending champion Barry Anderson.
If I could find my little sheet that had the menu on it, I would tell you what's next, but you far away.
Yeah, with the Challenge Tour getting underway in a couple of weeks, Johnny Caldwell joins us for a chat.
We've got all the news from the amateur and the pro games, of course.
And we have the second part of my chat with performance coach Carl Morris.
The NI Golf Podcast, sponsored by Andrew Morris Golf. Have your swing analysed on TrackMan for a custom club fitting by our leading team of professionals.
On with the pro news, Mr. Kelly.
But I guess there's only one place to start, and that is over in America with the Tiger Woods story.
Why, what happened?
You may have noticed, but believe it or not, it was actually Paul Casey who won the Valspar Championship.
Did he?
His first PGA Tour win for 6 years. Now, it may not have noticed that. You may not have noticed that with the coverage. But yes, he definitely won it. It was an emotional time for him. He's been waiting a while. And I think he spoke to the media afterwards.
He certainly did.
It means a lot. It's been too long. Very satisfying. Probably more satisfying the fact that it was on a week where Tiger played some good golf, and we've been friends and competitors for a long, long time. So it's the only time he's congratulated me immediately after a victory, so that's something special. Normally it's the other way around. Great experience. I loved his putt on 17. What a putt that was. That was amazing. I thought he was going to hold the one on 18. He was... Obviously, I'm sure he was disappointed he didn't get the victory. I actually thought he was going to win today before the round started. I thought it would just teed up beautifully for him. And I said a couple of times, I said, if I don't win this thing, I actually want Tiger to win it. I'm glad it's this way around.
Paul Casey.
He played some wonderful stuff in the final.
65, he played his lights out.
Putted out of this world.
Yep.
And he said that was a difference. That was what had been missing up to now. A great putting performance. Delighted for him. He'll make a big difference to the Ryder Cup team if he can get into that.
Yep.
I think I would say he would certainly be worthy of a pick. He's got a good Ryder Cup record, actually, Paul Casey. But he made the decision then to go and live in America.
The PGA Tour,
and turned his back on the tour. But to see now he's back, he's joined the tour full time. Obviously, it seemed, if you were watching and paying attention to what was going on Sunday, that Tiger Woods had won the event maybe before he started. He did play remarkably well, and the focus was obviously on him. The crowds were so big round it. It was incredible.
Well, there was a few things from what Casey said. Yeah. First of all, he said he heard the roars, but he didn't because Rory missed the cut. So he clearly he's telling fibs there. Second thing was, he seemed to be at pains to say how happy he was. I'm happy. I'm happier. I could be happier with more wit, but I'm happy. That seemed to be coming across a lot. Like he's trying to convince himself that he's happy. I don't know what. And the other thing that he said, which was strange, he pretty much counted himself out of it because he said on Sunday I thought Tiger was going to win. And that's a strange thing for a player to say. Maybe he thought he had no chance.
Yeah.
How far back was he getting into the sun?
No, he wasn't. He was in touch. That's
what I'm saying. So for him to say, I thought Tiger was going to win, that's a very strange, defeatist thing for a tour and pro to say. I hadn't
thought of it like that, but that was interesting, yeah.
Anyway, so Tiger actually did win. We're just winding it. Yeah. Paul Casey didn't win, Tiger won.
He finished second with Patrick Reed, one shot back at Casey, and here's what he said.
I felt very comfortable, actually. I didn't feel that sharp with my iron game. I played very conservatively into the greens because I just wasn't as sharp as I was yesterday, and just try to hopefully get a couple good numbers and fired a few flags. But it's one of those days where I kept getting the half club. Just one of those days where I just couldn't quite get the full club.
We saw the magic there late in the round on the 71st hole at the 17th, that long birdie putt. When you stood over that ball right there, what were you thinking?
Just get the right speed. Just putt to the picture and get the right speed. And I hit it with what I thought was good dying pace, and it took forever for that grain to take it, and I finally did at the very end.
You've said over the years that's what your dad taught you, to make sure you get that done just like that. As for the week, the last 4 days, you told us on Thursday that you're right there in the middle of the process of getting it back in gear. So what do you take away from a week like this?
Well, I think that I've gotten a little bit better than what I was, a couple weeks ago at Honda, and I keep getting just a little bit better and a little bit sharper. Today wasn't quite as sharp as I would like to have had it, but I had a good shot at winning this golf tournament, and a couple putts here and there could have been a different story.
If I said to you in December that Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods were going to come back around the same time, and Tiger's comeback was further ahead than Rory McIlroy's, would you have thought that's possible?
I would have thought that's Kelly talking out his rear end just for a change. No, well, here you see, here, as you will hear a bit later on, yes, whenever we chat to Johnny Caldwell, I think it was probably my tip to Johnny that secured his win in the Evolve. Right?
Okay.
If you remember rightly, we discussed Tiger Woods not so long ago.
Yes.
Clearly, he listens to the NI Golf podcast.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. Reason being, what's he gone and done? He's calmed himself down. I said, and if you remember, I said, if Tiger can just console himself with realising that he's never going to have the same kind of power and the same kind of distance as all the young fellas, he'll do all right. However, he didn't.
No.
He totally ignored that advice I gave him.
What was the swing speed?
129.2.
The highest on tour.
The highest recorded this season on tour.
For a 40-plus year old.
For a 40-plus-year-old, 42.
With back surgery.
With back. I actually tried it to get an osteo surgeon on the programme tonight, because I want to know what this fusion is, because I want one.
It is ridiculous.
I honestly tried today to get a back surgeon on, but he doesn't like doing this kind of thing. Right? So I was going to say, what's the crack here?
Yeah. How can he possibly be doing that well?
Not just the one back fusion, but the other surgeries.
Yeah, the knee,
the back.
Yeah.
All the and what's the recovery time on a back fusion? And what's normal? Because this is clearly superhuman. Surely this can't be right.
It is remarkable how quickly he seems to have got back to full speed, and it is mental. He
was tied second, he was second in club speed for the whole tournament. But he has actually recorded the fastest swing for this season on the PGA Tour. They're all the bombers.
Well, he's half his age.
And he's up there. But the point is, he doesn't need to, right? He plays iron shots like nobody's business, right? He's probably the greatest mid-iron player of all time. So he doesn't need to be, and this is the point that I'm going to refer back to my honourable friend when I did make the point that he totally ignored last time he was listening. He doesn't need to be going after these mad drives. If he gets it even 7/8 of the way down the fairway relatively straight compared to the other boys, he'll take them out with his mid-irons. Yeah,
his mid-irons, even his chipping, his putting, everything.
The yips have gone.
Yeah, the chipping was so tidy.
The putt on 17, 40-odd feet, died into the hole, as he was saying,
It was a superb performance. You have to take your hat off to him. We've been, let's be honest, we've been kind of having a wee laugh about it.
I know. You were. I always said Tiger would be back. I always said I have every faith in Tiger.
Well, we did ask the populace through our Twitter poll.
We did a quick one yesterday, so it was our day before. Stuck it up and just said, okay, great weekend for the big cat, unbelievable performance, but the big question is, will he win a tournament this season?
Overwhelming 3/4 of the people, I think over 50 or 60 people, which is good.
Yeah, man, just tried it. It was a very quickly throwaway one.
Overwhelming support for Tiger to win again.
75-25. So 3/4 of the people who voted for our listeners of our poll said that he will win this season. I have to say, I'm still on the 25%.
Well,
I would love to be wrong, because it's such a rare thing.
Yeah.
But seriously, if imagine if he wins the Masters.
As I said a couple of weeks ago, if he wins the Masters, best ever. I know, but this is of all sports.
I know, but you said that just totally nonsense, because you had no clue what he was going to do this weekend. That was just literally being silly. I was just plucking it out of outer space.
I'm telling you, if he wins the Masters, it is the greatest
But you had no clue what was coming this weekend.
No.
So,
and you know, he could go to Bay Hill and struggle because he's trying to play too many in a row, but based on that performance, he has to be a contender again. It is as weird a thing as I've ever seen.
Saturday was incredible.
It was weird.
His performance on Saturday was incredible.
It was like 10 years ago.
It was pretty much back to where it was.
Yeah.
The chip in on 9, birdie putt on 10, three birdies back to back.
The fist pumps, people bouncing up and down all over the place.
And you know, that probably helped Casey Big Style on Sunday. That he was ahead of that craziness. Yeah. He was a few holes ahead of the mania.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think that obviously helped him to keep him a bit calmer.
Yeah, a bit more mania this week at the Arnold Palmer.
Oh, there was various things that sort of, I don't want to be sucked into the hype, but it's hard not to.
Not when he's performing like that.
Right? The thing that I thought, first of all, on was it Thursday, Friday I was watching it? No. But this countdown to Tiger's tee time.
Yeah, on the
and
TV.
they have a clock and they have a countdown clock. That's balls. As I said, that is balls on Twitter. That's nonsense. Stop that nonsense. Right?
Yeah, there's other people playing. Pay attention to them.
I know, it's just like this, that, you know what I mean? But then, having said that, I did read that the viewing figures, did you see this?
Through the roof.
But did you see the viewing figures for the Sunday in America was bigger than the song? It was, yes, so the figures for this tournament, the Valspar, which very small tournament, was bigger than last year's US Open on the final day.
Yeah.
Because of Tiger.
He still is the one people want to watch.
Isn't that mental?
He still is the draw in golf is Tiger Woods, and Tiger Woods playing well is even better, and the sponsors and people involved in tour golf will be rubbing their hands again.
And he did it on a course that he's never really, 20 years ago he played.
And you see what happened if he brings his form this week to the Bay Hill where he's won? Unbelievable.
And let's not forget Phil.
Great to see the old fellas are showing the young fellas a way to go.
Exactly, the old timers are fighting back. So Phil, that was a great win for Phil as well. The WGC. Let's hear what Phil had to say about his first victory in something like 1,087 days.
It's a long time.
A good connection.
No, here, that's you.
What's all that about?
That's you for later. Hang on a
sorry,
second.
hold on.
Although the swings are similar. Here's Phil.
This is a very meaningful win. I can't really put it into words, given the tough times of the last 4 years and the struggle to get back here, and knowing that I was able to compete at this level but not doing it, and the frustration that led to, and to finally break through and have this validation means a lot to me. And I'm very appreciative of the people that have supported me through the tough times. Coach Loy there has been through thick and thin with me, and having a support system with Amy and the kids, and Callaway Golf, who's been with me through tough times, and Andrew Getson, who's helped get my swing back and my game back to where I want it to be, and to share this moment with my brother Tim on the bag is all this has just really meant a lot, given the tough times the last 4 years. And I'm very optimistic and believe that this is just a stepping stone of some more good things to come. I feel like I'm starting to play some of my best golf again.
3 comebacks in 2 weeks. There's hope for us yet.
There's hope.
Tiger, Phil and Casey.
And maybe Rory this time.
And maybe Rory. Speaking of which, happy birthday, Michael Bannon. Was Michael's 60th birthday there? Was it on Monday?
Is he that age?
Yeah, Monday past. He was
sprightly man for 60.
He was planning to head back to Northern Ireland. He was over with Rory for a while there during the Honda.
And the Valspar, he stayed on.
Well, he stayed on for the Valspar, and then he was planning to head back home. I think he stayed on for his 60th birthday. So happy birthday, Mr. Bannon. It's the Arnold Palmer Invitational, as we've just heard this week. Rory McIlroy will be playing, looking for some form after a miscut at the Valspar, and Michael Bannon, as I said, remain in Florida to do work following their early exit. I don't know what you see. People are saying,
I think he's accepted himself. He's got a wee bit of a timing issue at the moment. He's a wee bit out of sync.
Yes, a wee bit out of sync. But the point is, he was a wee bit in sync for Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Do you know what I mean? Second and third, you can't argue with that.
No.
So it can't be. So what could possibly change?
Well, that's a good question.
In the space of 2 to 3 weeks, a flight to Florida.
Who knows?
Is that what did it?
Who knows? Maybe it was the putting on those Puana greens down in the AT&T, maybe at Pebble Beach, maybe knocked him a bit.
I don't know if putting on the Pua grass now puts your approach shots from 150 yards that far out now.
Good point.
So, but we'll hope it'll snap back in and then
Hopefully.
boom. Anyway, Padraig Harrington, Shane Lowry, and Graham McDowell will also be playing. Graham finished tied for 40th at the Valspar, while Shane finished in a share of 49th. Just on the subject of the old timers coming back with Tiger and Phil, would it be premature of me to put money on Clark for the Open?
Possibly. There's no Euro Tour.
You don't share my optimism there?
I don't like to write off Darren Clark. So see if he gets into the Open and he starts showing form, that man could win. There's no Euro Tour event this week. In fact, the Euro Tour is on a bit of a hiatus now until the Open de España on April the 12th. At the most recent event, which was the Honda Indian Open at that trick golf course, which was just nuts looking.
I thought that was great.
It was great.
I loved the look of that.
The bunkers, which were 24 feet high.
I know, and there was these like weird planks in them.
Oh.
And then you see the big waterfalls and all.
It was
That was great. I love
that event was won by Matt Wallace, who claimed a playoff victory over Andrew Beef Johnson. And speaking about Darren Clark, he made the cut, but he had a tough weekend, firing rounds of 83 and 79 to finish in 63rd place on 7 over par.
He did. That playoff was good, actually. That last few holes of the Indian Open was great.
Your man took his win very well. Cracking shot into the playoff hole to win it.
I have to say. The inaugural European Golf Team Championships will take place at Gleneagles from the 8th to the 12th of August as part of the Multisport Glasgow 2018 European Championships. The new format will feature a 50-50 gender split in the field, with male-female professionals competing for equal prize money. We mentioned this a few weeks ago as well.
Different in our event, yeah.
And it's up against the USPGA Championship, so that will rule out a lot of the leading lights.
Yeah, unfortunately, so all the top players won't be there. On the LET, Ashley Burry wrote her name into the record books of the Investec South African Women's Open thanks to a 2-stroke victory at the Westlake Golf Club in Cape Town. She was the only amateur to win the national championship twice and the youngest. She fired a flawless final round 67 to win.
Staying with Ladies Pro Golf, Stephanie Meadow is set to get her Sumatra Tour season underway this week at Florida's Natural Charity Classic.
Yeah, and Taiwan Warichat defeated Clark Dennis and Peter Fowler in a 4-hole playoff at the Sharjah Senior Golf Masters to win back-to-back Stage Tour titles at the first event of the 2018 season. The opening event of the Euro Tour season featured Brenton McGovern, Ronan Rafferty, Des Smith and Philip Walton. Brenton McGovern was the best of the bunch. He claimed a share of 18th.
And the finale of the PGA Links Trophy will be held at Royal County Down. That's on Tuesday the 27th of March. 16 players have qualified for the finals, which will begin with a series of 6-hole match plays. The semi-finals and finals will be over 9 holes. And staying with PGA news, Beaver Park have boosted the prize fund for this year's Pro-Am to €15,000. Hopefully that'll attract a lot more of Ireland's top pros to come along to Beaver and have a rattle. In our last episode, we posed a really difficult quiz question.
Do you think we gave enough hints?
I think we might have done. Where will the 2023 Walker Cup be held? The answer was, and we did give enough hints, the Owl Course at St Andrews.
You ever played that old course?
I've never played that Owl Course.
We'd love to.
And the winner of the Golf Now voucher for last time is
Brian at BPGPDP class.
Brian at BPGPDP. So is Brian a doctor in Downpatrick?
I don't know. It doesn't say that on his Twitter bio, but
could be.
Could be.
So well done, Brian at BPGPDP. You've won yourself a Golf Now voucher. We'll get in touch with you and get that sorted. Thank you very much to Golf Now for their continued support of the NI Golf podcast. And we have another question for this week. So on Twitter, give us a follow at NI Golf Podcast. All you have to do is send us a wee tweet with the answer to this question to be in the draw.
Who was the last golfer to win back-to-back West of Ireland championships?
There may be a big clue coming up soon.
You're going to have to listen to the rest of the podcast.
Okay, so that's the question this week. Give it to us one more time, please.
Who was the last golfer to win back-to-back West of Ireland championships?
Was this around 2005, 2006?
Could well be.
Did he go on to perhaps claim a silver medal in another little Open championship?
He did, you know.
Okay, there's a bigger clue. We're sticking with pro golf, and the Challenge Tour will finally get underway on March 22nd with the Barclays Kenya Open. Michael Hoy, Cormac Sharvin, Rory McGee and Gavin Moynihan are all penciled in for their starts at an event which carries a huge purse of €500,000. And our next guest, Johnny Caldwell, is third alternate for the Kenya Open at the moment, but he's already made a good start to 2018, winning on the Evolve Tour last month. Evening, Johnny. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Evening, thank you guys.
So Johnny, listen, congratulations. A great start to the season down in, was it Spain or Portugal you were in?
Spain, yeah.
So you got
Spain.
You got the big win, so at least that means that your winter work has started to show some profit.
Yeah, it was good, yeah.
I suppose you can't wait to get started now, get the season started up and running properly.
Absolutely. It's been a long winter, obviously, with the way the weather's been. So apart from those 3 weeks in Spain, there hasn't been a whole lot of good golfing weather, unfortunately.
Yeah, it has been pretty awful. How has that affected your training and your sort of your work at the minute with the game?
Just being able, obviously, to get out on the course and keep the short game sharp and staying off turf. It's been a lot of kind of driving range off the mat. But it hasn't affected me too much. I still feel the game's in good shape, and I played reasonably well in Spain, so I'm confident heading into the season.
So clearly those wee tips that I gave you around Clandyboy last year came to fruition then when you got your win.
Absolutely, I'm delighted. I took the notepad with me that day. Took a couple of, when you weren't watching, I was jotting down notes.
Did it help you? If you put one into the woods at all, did it help you there, so you could find them a wee bit better? Because there was a few episodes in the woods.
Recovery shots.
Recovery shots.
He's good at those.
The artistic.
Yes.
Here, Johnny, what about will you just have your fingers crossed for Kenya? What's the plans?
Absolutely. It's just a matter of keeping an eye on it. Obviously, it's a lot of travel, so a lot of guys obviously are booked already. So it's going to be I would say it's going to be a tight one come Monday or Tuesday. But obviously I'd be willing to travel late for such a big event.
The problem with the Challenge Tour, obviously, it seems to take such a long time to get going, Johnny. You can almost get a bit stale, Will you go and try and find a bit more warm weather training over the next couple of weeks? If you don't get into Kenya, what's the plan?
Yeah, if I don't get into Kenya, I might look to go back to Spain, do a bit of warm weather training, obviously. It'd be great if the weather picked up here, but there's no guarantees of that.
Yeah.
So, I'm well used to having a long winter with playing on the Europro a few years there. It's a late start in the season, so it's nothing new to me.
Last time you chatted to us, Johnny, you kind of explained that you'd refocused on your game, and it's clearly paid off with your win. But what kind of things are you working on at the minute then?
Nothing really in particular. I'm just trying to stay fit and healthy and build up my body for the upcoming season. Obviously, I've been playing Europro, which is 3 days, a lot less travel. So the body's going to have to be fit and strong for 4 days of competition, week in, week out, really, on a longer schedule.
And when you say fit and strong, we say it a lot in the pro game that health and fitness and the actual training is becoming a much more important thing. Like, what are you doing now? Are you doing gym work and all the balance stuff?
Yeah, a lot of gym work, core exercises, spin classes, a lot of running. Not so much pumping big heavy weights or anything. I do set certain days for a bit of weight training, but most of it is core, balance, and golf specific exercises, flexibility and things like that. And
do you put much stock in all that? I mean, really? Is there any hope for athletes like me and Kelly?
Absolutely, 100%. Get you guys in the gym.
Can I just say,
get you a bit more mobile.
Hold on a second. I've started Pilates classes.
What?
Yes.
Well, excellent. Fabulous for golf. Yep.
There you go. I started Pilates classes.
That's Derek Henderson's got you at that, isn't it?
It's Stephen Grimison.
Or Grimison. Grimo, that's right.
Yes, I have started Pilates classes.
Is great.
It is. But Johnny, we're talking about staying fit and flexible. Like, you're 33, 34 now, you're going in with all these young guns.
Well, listen to him.
Is the experience you've got going to, that's what's going to make a difference to you, do you think? Or how are you going to keep up with these young fellas?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm still gaining yards even now, with the gym work and staying mobile and fit and stronger, and obviously, like you say, the experience I've had. I'll be going into my 9th year as a professional, so I've played main tour, I've played challenge tour, I've played years of the Euro Pro, I've done the travelling, I know what they expect and what it takes to compete. So I'm looking forward to getting going and playing against the younger guys.
Well, it's a great start to the season on the Evolve Tour there, so long may it continue. A few more wins under the belt this year would be fantastic. Johnny, thanks for taking the time to chat to us this evening.
No problem, guys. Thank you.
All the best. Cheers.
Thanks, Johnny. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Hopefully our next guest won't have to worry about where to take a penalty drop when he begins the defence of his West of Ireland Championship title at County Sligo GC on Wednesday, March 28th. Barry Anderson became the first Sligo-born winner of the West in 67 years when he saw off Jack Pearce last year, and now he's bidding to make it 2 in a row, a feat last achieved by Mr. Rory McIlroy back in 2005-2006. Evening, Barry.
How's it going, lads? Are you well?
Good, thanks for joining us on the NI Golf podcast.
Brilliant, Barry. Thanks for joining us this evening. Obviously it was very emotional and a very important win for you to win at home. What was it like?
Look, it was special. I mean, the West is the golf tournament that got me into golf in the first place. You know, like my earliest sort of golfing memories would have been out watching the West when I was 9 or 10 years old. You know, and like so back then you dream of just playing it at some stage, and then when you get into it and you get 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 goals as it was in my case, you kind of dream that one day you might actually win it. So for that to happen, like it's not everybody gets to say that their childhood dream came true, but like for me, thankfully it has, you know. So it was just great for myself and my family and for everybody connected to me down in Sligo then as well, you know.
Brilliant. In terms of juggling your golf career and your working, Morris, luckily enough, Barry's actually a proper working fella trying to compete with all these full-time amateurs.
We so know what it's like.
Trying to keep your game at a decent level.
Absolutely. Trying to get to the range
exactly.
and get the short game area. It's
tough.
2 kids. No, it's
exactly.
hard,
it's tough for him.
He understands.
So how are you balancing it, Barry? How do you balance it, especially during the winter?
Yeah, look, it's tricky at times. I mean, you obviously don't have as much time maybe as some guys who might be in college or who might be playing full time, but look, you make do what you have. As you said, you kind of try and get to the range a couple times a week, and then the weekends really is kind of where you get most of your work done, you know. But I suppose the main thing is you don't really use it as a crutch to fall back on to say, oh look, you know, there's no point competing against these guys. They're practicing, they have way more time in their hands. Like once you kind of go with that attitude, you're behind the 8 ball already. So you just kind of have to be confident that when you do get there and play, that you make the most of your time and that you're not just standing on the range, you know, talking away or just swapping balls away for the crack. You're kind of making use out of it.
Yeah. So apart from winning the West in a couple of weeks, then what's the plans for the rest of the year?
Plan for the rest of the year is to play all the major tournaments in Ireland. Hopefully get a couple in across in the UK as well. And I suppose the main goal for the whole year is try and be on the home internationals team in September. So I came up just shy last year, so I'm hoping to try and hopefully get my name on the team sheet come September time.
Sligo, obviously, you know it intimately. It's been developed a lot over the last couple of years, and there's been a lot of talk recently of the Irish Open going there, possibly as early as next year. You've lived there, obviously, all your life. What would that mean to Sligo, Barry?
To have a pro event would be amazing. I mean, I suppose I heard this was in the grapevine kind of maybe last year before. You know, the European Tour were over and had a look at the course and the setup and the facilities and stuff like that. So I don't know, to be honest, how far it is along, but if it did ever happen, I mean, it'd be fantastic. You just see the likes of Fort Stewart there last year, and I'm sure Ballylisten will be the same this year. I mean, it's just such a boost to the local economy, and you know, the people who maybe don't get to see a pro event ever in their lives, maybe to have it on their doorstep would just be amazing, you know. So like hopefully it does happen. I think the course will be well able for us, especially if the wind blows. It would be a good test for any pro coming in there. So fingers crossed it will come true, all right.
Brilliant, Barry. I really appreciate you coming on this evening. We'll wish you all the very best at the West of Ireland Championship this year. Hopefully you can make it 2 in a row and follow young McIlroy.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers for having me. Yeah.
So, Mr. Kelly, to the amateur news and some breaking amateur news.
Yeah, big news from the States. Our top friend, and who was in with us 2 weeks ago at the last podcast, Tom McKibbin, has done the business again.
Literally, as we came on air this evening, he has just won the Major Championship Invitational Men's Individuals with a score of 12 under for 3 rounds.
Yes, 68, 67, 69.
That's a winning score. He won by 1 shot, and he was the Bella Collina course.
Bella Collina course. This is the event organised by Sir Nick Faldo. It's part of his Faldo series. He brought a whole load of top players from all over the world together, as we talked about last week. Some really high quality players there, and Tom's gone out and done the business again.
He's done it again. That's 3 wins in a row in America since the start of the year.
It seems to love it out there.
Absolutely. So huge congratulations. He was in here 2 weeks ago telling us that he had got the invite. He's now over there literally this evening. He's won the thing, the men's individual. The team, he was playing for Team McIlroy. Team McIlroy
finished 9th
in the team game. So well done, Annabelle and Alan, and
I don't know the other person. I should know.
Can't remember. But well done to the team for 9th. But huge congratulations to Tom for 1st place.
Well done. On to the amateur news, Morrison. Ballinrobe's Sharon Burke won the Carlow Scratch Cup by 4 shots at the weekend. The next stop on the Scratch Cup circuit is Woodbrook on the 18th of March. Fingers crossed with the weather.
Yep, the GUI have called up 16 boys for international duty as the season gets underway with away matches against France and Wales. Here's the squad to face France at Terre Blanche.
Oh, well said.
Le Rieu course on the 22nd and 23rd of March. John Brady, Charlie Denver, Jack Doherty, Alan Hill, David Kitt, the aforementioned Tom McKibbin, Aaron Marshall and Luke O'Neill. And the squad to face Wales at Cardigan on the 24th to 25th of March. Patrick Callahan, Josh Mackin, Alex Maguire, Oren Maguire, Scott Miller, Owen Murphy, Adam Smith and Edward Walsh. Good luck, the lads.
And big news, Morris, this is the bit that makes you fall asleep. The committees.
Committee corner.
Committee corner.
We should have committee corner every week. I can go and get a cup of coffee while you do committee corner.
Well, the big news this week is the RNA and the USGA have finalised golf's new rules, which will come into force from next year. Now, remember last year we spoke to Vaughan Cassidy from the PGA in Ireland when they were talking about these things, and you took great delight in laughing and slagging me off about the fact that you would not have to drop the ball, you'd be able to place it on the ground.
Yes.
You kept saying I had an unfair advantage.
Yes.
You had to drop it from shoulder height. Well, a lot of the changes have been agreed.
Did I say that? I don't think I said that. I would never slag you for that.
And what I would say is, if you play golf anyway halfway serious, you're going to need to know these new rules, because some of them are much different from normal. Okay, so really pay attention. What I'm saying is, I know we carry on about it and about committees and all, but these are significant changes.
Oh, go on then.
And, but we're going to take through a few points, okay? A penalty drop, Morris, yeah, right?
2 inches.
Knee height.
So they didn't go with that 1 inch thing?
No, they went for knee height, which obviously is a bit unfair for you, because my knees are a hell of a lot closer to the ground.
That's still an unfair advantage. Can we not have like an RNA international rule that says from Paul Kelly's knee height? That would be class. Imagine seeing that in the rule book.
For penalty drops, see Paul Kelly's knee.
Kelly,
Well, so you can also fix spike marks on the greens.
Yes, saw that, yeah.
And put without the flagstick being removed. Yes. It's all an effort to speed up play. And they've also removed the penalty for a double hit, which I can't work out why, but there you go.
Because generally speaking, a double hit, you don't intend to do a double hit. Like, it's not as if you're getting an advantage from a double hit.
No, well, I've seen some people have a swipe in the bunker as it comes out, hit it the second time, it's gone out of the bunker.
But has it gone in the hole?
That's a good question.
Has it gone closer?
So listen, there's a whole lot more information on the rna.org and usa.org/rules. Have a look at it. They're not coming into play until next January.
But are they the main ones, are they?
They're the main ones that I sort of thought people would be interested in. There's a whole lot ones about, lateral hazards and taking penalty drops and all. 1 club length has to be the longest club in your bag.
We'll probably do more on this.
We're going to have to
towards the end of the year. Yeah.
But anybody who plays golf, competition golf, goes out on a Saturday, these are the rules you're going to play on.
I love that one, putting with the flagstick in.
Speed up play.
Speed up. Seriously, because see some of the slow ones who take forever to get in the green, and you're waiting to go.
And the worst thing is, there's always one person who never takes a flag out. There's always one person in the group.
Stop looking at me like that.
Who never takes a flag out of the green, and then there's always one person in the group who would never think of putting a flag back into the bloody play.
So can you take your putt with the flag stick in, head on to the next tee and hit your shot and still there farting about?
Well, I think that might break the etiquette of it, but they do want to speed up play. So if you're part of that group and people pay attention to you, fair play to you.
At clubstohire.com, you can take all the hassle out of your golf travel and rent your clubs before you fly. Clubs to Hire offer the very latest sets from just £32 per week, including the brand new M4 clubs from TaylorMade. And Clubs to Hire have just opened 3 new locations in Australia. That's 26 locations worldwide. So wherever you're travelling to play golf, choose the easy option and hire your clubs at clubstohire.com.
Now, a few weeks ago, I caught up with performance coach Carl Morris for a bit of a chat. And we played the first part of this interview in the last podcast. Now, here's the second half with some of Carl's thoughts on how we can all become better putters. You've always had a good connection here. You've done a lot of work here with the elite groups at the amateur levels as well.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate over here. I've been very kind to me over here in Ireland. Done work with Neil at GUI in the past, and lots of seminars around the Dublin area, and quite a few up here in the north as well. Been fortunate to do Royal County Down and Royal Portrush. We did an evening there with Graham a few years back, which was great. So no, Ireland's been most kind to me. So they don't even check me. They don't even check the passport when I come through, and they just saw you back again.
Well, I think the last time we spoke was probably about 2013. You were over doing one of your seminars as well, and you passed on, I think it was your latest book at the time. It was about playing your greatest golf. Yeah. And you were talking about post routine there, and I think that's one of the things that I certainly took away from that book, which was, once a shot's gone, put your club back in your bag and sail on. Because I'd have been tinker and rehearse after the swing, which, as we all know, is absolutely no value to anything.
That's a perfect example, Paul, of attention. If your attention after the shot's gone is on that particular shot, it's a history lesson. It's gone. It's not coming back. And there's an element. I talk quite a bit about the difference between, after you've hit a shot, the difference between facts and opinions. And that works quite well in the sense that, if you hit a bad shot, if you call yourself an idiot or whatever, that's an opinion. You might think it's valid, but what's the fact? What did you do with that shot? Did you hit the ground first? Was the face open? Was the face closed? Was it at the toe or the heel? When you deal with facts, you can move on then. And the brain can self-correct. But just what most people indulge in is name calling of themselves.
And you're just referring to books there. You have another one in the pipeline, I believe. Yes.
Really excited about this one. Yeah, I've done it. Gary Nichol, a good friend of mine, who's performance director at Archerfield, which is a wonderful location in Scotland. We've done a lot of work over the last couple of years in putting, and really started to get some exceptional results. Really interesting, especially with good players, but across all levels. And it's nothing to do with the stroke. It's so different in the sense that everybody tends to work on trying to be perfect at address and get your start lines absolutely perfect. The book that we've written is called The Lost Art of Putting, and there's 6 principles to it. I won't give the whole book away, otherwise nobody will get it. But basically, it's a lot more about pace rather than line. And it's amazing when you liberate people to start focusing more on pace. The paradox is the line gets better. People who are obsessed with line tend to have poor feel. And we've got some interesting stats about, if the ideal sort of distance to miss a putt is around about a foot. Now, if you miss a putt and it goes 2 foot past, the actual effective size of the hole reduces by about 58%. So just by being, this idea of never up, never in, and people bolting putts past can be really detrimental. If your pace control is poor, basically the hole's tiny. one of the best examples. If everybody always says, "Oh, look how good a putter Jordan Spieth is," just watch his putts. Most of the time, in that critical range, that sort of 6 foot to 30 foot, that can turn around completely on its head and get some momentum. You'll see his putts, and they're nearly always just dying into the hole. He's got wonderful pace control. So that's the real gist of the book, and we're so really excited about that.
Funnily enough, a few episodes ago, we picked up a wee bit of research that was done about putting in reference to the people who look at the hole.
Right, yeah.
And the people who look at the ball. Yeah. And this research was saying the people who actually look at the hole is better. And do you think that's the pace issue? I
think when you do that, you first of all, your attention, again, back to that word, when you're looking at the hole, guess where your attention is? It's on the hole. So I think that increases your ability to feel the stroke. If you think about it, Paul, we're the only sport where you're not looking where you're going. You know, you think everything. If you throw a rugby ball, you're looking where it's going to go, or a tennis or whatever. The next best thing to looking where you're going is having a very clear image of where you intend the ball to go. And again, what we found is so many people, they're so obsessed with the stroke, they're so obsessed with the start lines, they've lost connection with the only thing that matters is the behaviour of the ball relative to the hole. So it does make a lot of sense why people, it's a big leap, but it would make sense why looking at the hole as opposed to the ball is effective.
Now, obviously, we're doing a podcast, and you also do your own podcast. So, before we wrap up, Carl, if people want to hear more from you, they can go onto your website.
Yeah.
Is that true? And also, if people want to maybe encourage you to come down to one of their clubs and speak to their pro, your website's a place to go for all this?
Yeah, just get in touch with us on the website. More than happy to come over and do some more seminars. As I say, it's the thing I love doing more than anything else. The podcast that you mentioned, it comes out every Friday, called The Brain Booster. That's available on iTunes. We've had some really interesting guests on that over the past few months, golf coaches, but other sports as well. So yeah, anybody interested in getting in touch, just go to themindfactor.com and invite me back.
And that is it for the NI Golf Podcast, episode 43. Some interesting stuff there from Mr. Morris.
He always talks about he's always very sensible what he says. When you finish listening to him, you think, God, that makes an awful lot of sense.
He kind of lost me when he started saying the hole had shrunk by 58%.
I think you probably need to read the book.
Yeah. So here, just before we go, you had your journalist hat on for the Irish Golfer magazine again.
I did, yes.
You were chatting to Michael Hoy recently for a big article in their magazine. Just give us the ins and outs there. Well,
Michael's actually been on tour now 16 years. He's still going strong in the sense that he's still addicted to it. Man, it's just, we talk about Pádraig Harrington being a tinker. Michael's maybe not just as much of a tinker, but he loves the competition. He loves playing. He quite enjoys the travelling in many respects. So Michael definitely will be playing in Kenya now. Fingers crossed he's going to get out there. He's still got that hope to get back on the European Tour. He's not as if he's given up and getting back there. He's still as competitive, still as mad keen to do well, still as mad keen to compete against all these young fellas. But it was interesting. I had a chat. I didn't actually get to use it in the article. He was talking about his driving distance.
Oh.
When Michael first came out on tour, he was quite long.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's considered middle of the road.
16 years later, he's been over tuck.
He's 16. He's middle of the road now, and he says he still gets it out there. He gets it out there about 270, but that's middle of the road now amongst these big hitters.
Before we go, let me just say, just before we go, I think we're getting a call from the United States of America. Hello, United States, is that you?
Hello?
Hello, Tom.
Hello.
What about you?
Tom McKibbin.
Tom McKibbin.
How are you?
As we came on air this evening, we just noticed that Tom McKibbin had won. We put in a call to say, if you're about in the next 20 minutes or so, give us a call. And here he is on the phone. Here, well done, young fella.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's unbelievable. 12 under. What was it? 68, 67, 69, winning by a shot. The men's tournament. That's unbelievable. You were here in the studio with us 2 weeks ago. You said you were going out. You've gone out and won us 3 in a row in America for the start of the season. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, unbelievable win. So it was. Yeah, so I played really good. So yeah, it was good.
And you just come off the course and you've done the photographs, you've done the press.
Nick Faldo's hand.
You've spoken to obviously us now, which is the biggest media you're going to do. But just tell us about the event then, just very quickly, because I know you're busy and you're heading off to prize giving and all that kind of stuff. Tell us a wee bit about the team event and then the individual.
The team event, there was 4 people in the team, and then 3 out of those 4 scores counted towards the team event. And I'm not actually sure how we did in that.
You came 9th, actually. We checked that. Yeah, you came 9th. So that was fairly good.
Okay, 9th. Yeah, not too bad. And then the individual was just 3 rounds of stroke play.
Well, and what was the course like? It obviously suited you?
Yeah, the course was really, really good. Greens were just pure, but it was really windy, like 30-mile-an-hour wind, so it was.
Very good. You'd be used to that, surely.
A bit like Greenacres on a normal Saturday afternoon. Yeah, there's no problem there.
And you had another hole-in-one, Tom?
Yeah, I had one yesterday on the 16th. It was, how far was it? I had a 6-iron anyway, and it one bounce and then into the hole. So.
And you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, the guy got it on camera as well.
Hey,
absolutely brilliant.
Well, here, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for ringing us from the United States with another victory in your pocket. Yeah. That is absolutely fantastic. You go off now and enjoy the prize giving. And then, are you heading back again? You're only home for a while, and then you're going back for the Sage Valley.
Yeah, I'm going back next month for Sage Valley. Yeah,
fantastic.
Brilliant, Tom. Listen, that's congratulations. That's fantastic, because to go out there into that event and to play against some very, very high quality players out there. It wasn't a group of hackers out there. It was some top class players.
I'm sure you'll hear from your sort of president McElroy sometime soon as well with some congratulations.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Right,
so.
And go and enjoy yourself, young man, and thanks for calling us.
Okay, well, yeah, no problem.
All the best. Cheers.
Thanks, Tom. Bye-bye.
There you go. From the United States, he's literally just off the course after winning that Nick Faldo Major Champions Invitational.
Very good.
Class. Right, we're back in 2 weeks. Between now and then, obviously, Bay Hill.
And then the week after that, we've got the WGC, the match play. And then, before you know it, Morris J.
The Masters.
Class.
It'll be upon us. Enjoy your golf. If you're still doing the old Winter League, it won't be long now to the start of the season.
They're all over. Must be start of the season.
Now, are they?
Most of them are over now. And the start of the season time, St. Patrick's Day usually signals the start of the season. Fingers crossed for everybody at the courses.
All the Halatining getting done this week and all that
sanding.
Kind of stuff. Yeah, sanding getting done. So as I say, enjoy your golf. We'll speak to you in 2 weeks' time.
The NI Golf Podcast, sponsored by Andrew Morris Golf. Have your swing analysed on TrackMan for a custom club fitting by our leading team of professionals.
Seawood, shaking that ass, shaking that ass, shaking that ass. Seawood, shaking that ass, shaking that ass, shaking that ass.